Thank you everyone for joining us today. Our session today will be recorded and available on our YouTube page. If you have any questions during this presentation, please feel free to leave a comment and we'll try to address everyone's questions at the end. Our speaker today is Kevin Cochran. Over the last 15 years, Kevin has been one of the most sought after speakers on the necessity of money management for families, teens, and young adults. Having been featured on radio and television programs across the country, he has spoken to well over 100,000 people, including professionals, students, schools, communities, and corporations on the importance of financial literacy and how to create a foundation for personal wealth. By the time Kevin was 20 years old, he found himself $20,000 in credit card debt. Since then, Kevin has played a key role in growing two companies to a multi-million-dollar revenue status and removed himself completely from debt while creating a large foundation of wealth. With the help of many mentors, Kevin has systematized and simplified money management. Kevin believes that money management is a lesson that we all learn eventually. Some learn it the easy way and some learn it the hard way. Enriched Academy provides a foundation to help people avoid the damage caused from learning it and the hard way, and it sets the stage for people to take control of their financial health. Kevin knows that Enriched Academy will make a massive difference in people's lives, forever altering their financial future and for the better by setting them up for financial success. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kevin.
Thanks very much, Scott. I really appreciate it, and thanks for everybody joining us here today. And it's interesting, I haven't heard that bio in a bit because obviously I haven't been able to travel, but in that bio it mentioned some people learn money the easy way, some learn it the hard way, and unfortunately right about now, I think a lot of Canadians, actually people worldwide, are learning learning about money. They're learning about money the hard way through this financial COVID crisis that's taking place right now, which is, was completely unpredictable. Nobody saw it coming. And unfortunately, like most downturns in any market, whether it was now or 2008, 2001, you don't really see it coming. Maybe a select few do, but the majority of people don't. So very excited to be here today because we're going to go through some really important stuff. We've allocated about an hour to do this presentation, and we're really excited about it. And this is really timely to have this presentation with SprottTalks College, and very excited about it because you take a look at the two top topics talked on the news right now. The two top things everybody's talking about, clearly number one is COVID-19, and the second thing is money, because the shockwave, the second effect of this COVID is people struggling cash flow because people are losing jobs, they're being laid off. We can go on and on and on, and we're just, I believe, seeing the beginning of this. This is something that is going to take some time to get out of. So again, thanks to SprottTalks College for allowing us to do this, and they've been phenomenal partners with Enriched Academy. So thank you very much for being part of this. I kind of want to talk about what's going on. Just so you know, we're going to kind of go through two things here today. We're going to talk about a little defense, a little bit of offense. We're going to talk about what is really going on right now in the marketplace, and then just talk about some ways to manage with what's going on. So it's not all doom and gloom, but I think it's important to put it out on the table. A lot of this stuff by now I think people are aware of, but you can clearly see that we've got something that's never happened before. This is a U.S. stat, but it really isn't that far different anywhere you are in the world. This is this line right here, if you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen. This right here shows the unemployment rate in America since the 1980s. You can see it's kind of hovered under 1 million, and that's kind of been pretty consistent. In 2008, it rose a little bit, or under half. Yeah, but now you can see actually it's well over 3 million. I believe the number was 6.6 million at one point I had heard had filed for unemployment. So this is a scary time that's going on right now, and nothing like this has ever happened. So it's clear to see that this is interesting, but if there's anything that, if I could say might make people feel better, that we will get through this, because every 10 years something happens that's never happened before, and it really scares people, right? In 2019, 2020, we have COVID. Nothing like this has ever happened. In 2008, we had a massive financial crisis. Nothing like that had ever happened either, where banks ran out of money. They couldn't pay people back their money. In 2001, which was roughly 8-9 years earlier, planes crashed into buildings in Manhattan. The whole world thought the whole world was going to be into a world war. So again, every decade or so, we see something that's never happened before, and it rattles our world. And so the best part of it is that history tells us we get through this stuff, and we're going to get through this as well. This will test all of us. There's no doubt about it. People are stressed out more than ever before. They can't go out. We're confined to our homes. So there's no doubt about it. It's testing patience, stress levels, and so forth. People are going to lose jobs. That's no doubt. That's happening and will continue to happen. And, I don't think we've seen the bottom of it. But again, we get through it. Interesting enough, kind of, whether we want to see believe or understand this or not, we're living through history right now. 100 years from now, when we're all gone, this is going to be in the history books. They're going to talk about this, right? Our great-great-grandchildren are going to go to school, and in history class, they're going to talk about, or business class, about what happened in 2020, where the world shut down because of a pandemic. It's we're living it. We're creating history right now, which is great. You're going to have to make tough decisions. Everybody is, myself included. Everybody, we're going to make tough decisions over the next 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and we're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. And this isn't something that's going to get better in 2 weeks. So again, we're hoping it will. I know they're reopening stuff, but there could be a second wave. Who knows, right? And nobody has a crystal ball, including myself. But you know what? This is just not something that's just going to automatically kick back and everything's back to normal. Clearly, you're going to see some serious changes. And it's no different than what happened after 2001 when the World Trade Center got attacked by terrorists. You know what? Air travel's never been the same. You got to take your shoes off when you go through security. You got to show your ticket before you go through security. You got to show ID when you get on the plane. All that stuff didn't exist before 2001. I can assure you that, because I used to fly back then a lot. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? And if you look at what's going on right now, is that there's a couple things I need people to do. Number one is just stay calm. Stay calm. The challenge right now is that it's really easy to think that you're the only one suffering. And I'm the same way. I'm no different. We live in our own little world, and I'll look online and, oh my gosh, I lost all this money in the stock market. It's crazy. But I'm not the only one. Millions, hundreds of millions are in the same situation, whether they lost money in the stock market, or whether they or lost a job, or are scared whether they can pay their bills. Many millions, hundreds of millions of people in the same situation. And I think sometimes when you realize you're not alone, there's a little bit of comfort. So you got to stay calm, realize you're not alone. Next is that manage every dollar you have better than ever before. We've talked about budgeting for decades, and we're going to continue to talk about it later on today as well. This now more than ever, budgeting is critical. This is so important. Limit the amount of news you watch. We all know what's going on in the market. And, I've had to, my wife had a lot of concerns. She was worried every night. And I saw, the first thing she did before when she woke up in the morning, she was watching the local news. What she did before she went to bed, she was watching the local news. And I'm like, Jan, just stop. I'm like, nothing good comes out. You get what's happening. There's a pandemic. We don't need to know that that 30-year-old that was healthy a month ago, that ran a marathon and now is on a ventilator. We get it's happening. It does not improve your situation. All you're doing is putting yourself down and worrying even more. So limit the amount of news you watch. If you make time to watch bad news, because that's all news teaches you is bad news. If you make the time to watch bad news, your situation will not be better. I promise you. A year from now, you'll be in a worse situation. The question is, you got to ask yourself, what am I going to look like coming out of this? So we're going to talk about that a little bit here today. What am I going to look like coming out of this? And, just again, as I said it earlier, you're going to get through this. Everybody is. Bottom line is that every decade, as I said, we go through something that's never happened before. I'm going to say this to anybody listening right now that's in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. You know what? You're probably going to have to go through three or four more of these scary events in your life. Especially if you plan to live till your 80s, where the markets crash, something like this never happened. Something like, I can't even think about it. Like I mentioned, you had planes crashing into buildings. You had financial, institutions that have been around for 100 years in the United States completely shut down. And now we have something new. And 10 years from now, it's going to be something else new. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine that. Right. And so what we want to talk about is, first of all, have a really, really good defense of what's going on. So number one is what you can do is now more than ever. We're going to talk about budgeting very, very a little later on. And by the way, anyone who stays to the end, we've got a really cool giveaway. We're going to give something really awesome. We're going to give you a link to this tool. Is a life-changing tool. When we do our live events, we provide this tool for $50 worth of value. We're going to provide it here today. So we're pretty excited for everybody who stays to the end, but we're going to talk about budgeting. But look at every monthly payment you have. Credit cards, line of credits, mortgages, rent, whatever you may have, car. I want you to look at every monthly payment that you have. Second, I want you to prioritize payments. You know what? If you have enough money coming in to pay all your bills off in full, make sure you pay off the highest interest bills. And I'll tell you why. The average family holding on to credit card debt in Canada holds on to about $9,500 worth of credit card debt. And I want to show you why you want to, if you're going to come out of this in debt, which so many people are, so don't feel like you're alone. But if you do come out of this with debt, you want to make sure that you come out of this this pandemic with the lowest interest debt that you can get. Let me show you what I mean. This right here is a Royal Bank of Avion. This is actually my credit card. And right here, I want to show you this. This right here is the credit card balance. It's about $8,900. It's from a few months ago. And I showed this $8,900 one. I bought a vacation on this, which is why it's a little bit higher. I wanted to show you this because this is the closest I could find to the average Canadian balance that holds on the credit card. Now, on your last page of your credit card statement, it actually tells you how long it can take to pay off your credit card. Now, if you can read that, it actually says 78 years. So this $8,000 credit card with Royal Bank at a 19% interest would take you 78 years and 5 months to fully pay off. So that's why I'm trying to say is that you're never going to pay it off. You know, it's so important to realize if you're going to come out of this in debt, try to come out of this with line of credit debt. Maybe borrow money from a family member, whatever you need to do, but don't try to avoid credit card debt at 19% at all costs. It says right here, cut your monthly spending by at least 30%. Honestly, it should be 30 to 50%. Bottom line, there's not really anything you can spend your money on right now. Anyways, everything's closed. I know they're starting to open things up again, but you know what? It's like right now more than ever, you should be cutting everything down as much as possible. Look at all your resources to cut all costs. Don't throw away your leftover food after you eat dinner. Keep it, put it into a fridge, eat everything. You know, it's just a pain in the butt just to get to the grocery store and buy something right now. If you don't need it, don't buy it. If you bought something a month ago and you haven't opened it up yet, return it. Get that money back. Only two people are going to have your money, either you or somebody else. So bottom line, if you've bought something and you haven't opened it yet and you're thinking, should I need it? Do I not? Return it. Get that cash back into your pocket. That's critical. Turn off the lights. Turn down the heat. Whatever you need to do, try to make sure that you look after every dollar right now, because now more than ever, it is important to try to create as much cash reserve as you can, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe it lasts till next month and you start seeing an immediate rebound. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And that's why anytime you watch the news, ultimately nobody knows, right? This is new, right? And maybe it takes some time, maybe it lasts till September. I don't know, but it's better to prepare for the worst case scenario. And then everything else is really good news to you, right? And realize province by province, they are providing help, right? Deferred, property taxes. That's in Penticton as an example. You've got the federal government postponing your personal tax returns. But, it's important to understand that if you want to know more information, you just can Google Canada coronavirus support. But even better, and it'll give you an idea of what's available, but even better, SprottShaw is here to help you. So I know that Scott's going to be posting this, or if you want, you can take a screenshot of this or go to SprottShaw.com and you can go to the COVID section, My SprottShaw Student Support, and you're going to see, and this is a screenshot of it right here, you're going to see a full rundown of employment support that there is, housing support, income support, language. So again, really, really important. If you want to know more about all the available programs available to you, go to SprottShaw.com. And go to the My SprottShaw, go to the COVID section. I believe that's what it is. And what you can do is take a look at housing support, income support, additional support, language support, employment support. So again, go to SprottShaw.com and you can find out everything. And I believe Scott is also going to be posting this link on the Facebook page. So you can click on that page. It'll take you right here and it'll give you everything you need to know about what's available for all the support, because the government, whether it's provincial or federal, have really jumped in to help Canadians in this time of need. There's no question about that, which is amazing. And as you can see, there's tons of resources there for Canadians. So it's really, really great. So we're going to talk about an advanced money defense system here. I'm just going to take a drink of water. And I'm pretty excited about this because we're going to talk about budgeting. And as I mentioned to you earlier, budgeting is just absolutely critical when it comes to, getting through this crisis, because budgeting is everything. There's two people can have your money, either you or somebody else. And what we specialize here at Enriched Academy is helping people put budgets together. Think about it. Every company, I don't care if it's Disney, Microsoft, Google, my own business at Enriched Academy, SprottShaw, everybody is running a budget right now. Not that they didn't before, but everybody's being really specific about their budgets because you got to know where every dollar is going. That's what a budget does. It shows you all your money coming in, how that money's getting dispersed out, and where that money is going. So it's really, really important to know. And you can't just guess, well, this is what it usually is. I don't really know. No, you got to know where every dollar is going. It's massive. So why we need a budget? Number one, it helps you live below your means. And now more than ever, you have to live below your means because this could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months of you, not receiving an income that you're used to. That might be happening for a lot of people watching right now, but your expenses could be retained the same. So how do you keep those expenses as low as possible? Number two, it's key to financial freedom. Like number one, again, you got to run a budget. It helps you eliminate debt and maximize investing potential. That's a cool thing about a budget. And it helps your goals become reality. So that's a very, very important part of this program. So I love this by Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a major financial guru out of the United States. He's been around for decades. He's just a phenomenal presenter. And he said that the budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went, right? Which is really, really great. So why tracking is so important, a couple of things. You become 42% more likely to achieve your goals by writing them down. And just to give you an idea, just with people that we've worked with, our average person that we work with at Enriched Academy that uses our budgeting tool, for those budgeting, average spending is reduced by $800 a month. It's by calling it's amazing what you can do. You call your phone supplier, Bell, Rogers, TELUS, and try to renegotiate your contract. Cutting your home phone. There's so many different ways. There's maybe not using cable. Like there's a million different ways to cut your costs by $30, $40, $50 per supplier by just making a couple phone calls. One client we actually helped save $40,000 a year, believe it or not. He had no idea. He was spending all that money. That's the power of what a budget is. And as I mentioned to you earlier, for those of you that stayed to the very end, we're going to give you a really, really cool tool. We're going to give you a link to access it. It's going to be amazing. So especially when it comes to budgeting, this tool is a life-changing tool. We're going to provide it to anybody who stays here till the end. So how much money do you spend each month? I ask people this all the time, and surprisingly enough, 85% of people are like, I don't really know. I'm not sure. So again, really, really important to have an idea. How much money do you spend every month? So you need to write down what your estimate is right now. If you're watching right now, you have a pen and paper, write down what you think of it. I don't know, $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever it is. Try to figure out what you spend every month. Now, we're going to give you a 4-step system to take control of your budget, control of your money with our budget mastery tool. And again, we're going to provide everybody with this budget mastery tool. We've looked inside and out in Enriched Academy. This is the best budget tool we've ever seen, we've seen really good ones, but we took those, made them better, and we're going to give it to everybody here that stays to the end. Number one is you need to open the budget tool after we're done the call. You need to click on the link that we're going to provide you. And you're going to receive the tool. It's going to be an Excel worksheet so you can analyze your real data. So this is what the Excel budget sheet's going to look like. It's, again, as I mentioned to you, it's phenomenal. I'm going to break down section by section of how this thing works. So number two is you're going to want to enter your net income. Now, we have no access to this information. SprottShaw doesn't. This is an Excel sheet. You download to your own computer. You can delete it, do whatever you want, but you're the only one that's going to know what's going on in this worksheet. Nobody else is. Again, it's an Excel worksheet. Nobody has access to it. So your net income is the total amount you earn after deduction. So you're going to want to know what your net income is, not what your gross, not like I make $70,000 a year, $70,000 minus taxes. What is your net income? And so the first section you're going to see is, what is your monthly employment or business income after tax? So write down what your current amount is. Do you receive any interest or dividends from any investments? Like, do you have any stocks? Do you have any monthly Airbnb or rental income coming in? Do you have a monthly retirement or a pension or a RIF? Do you have any child support or child benefit or any type of contract work? You're going to want to write down all those numbers. And when you do, it's actually going to give you a number at the very bottom. And it'll tell you what it is. So maybe you just get a job and it's $3,200 a month. You type that in and it's going to break down and it's going to tally that up. The next thing you're going to want to do is enter all your expenses, okay? So you're going to want to print out all your expenses and highlight them. And so I'm going to show you what I mean by this, okay? So this is an example of a credit card statement, right? So here's what you're going to do. And this is what I do every 3 months. I actually print out my credit card statements and my bank statements. And I have 3 different highlighters. And I highlight, specific type of expenses. So this right here, we used as an example, yellow, green, and red. Now, each one of these expenses represent a specific type of spending habit, right? Some are fixed, some are variable, and we're going to show you what that means. But I highlight all my expenses every 3 months. And, if you didn't do this before COVID, you need to do this after now and after, because this gives you a really good idea of your spending habits. You have no idea how much money you spend in certain areas. You're like, and I have people that we work with, and they do this for the first time, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was spending that much money when I went out for dinner every month. I had no idea. I thought I was spending like $150, $200 a month. It was $450 a month. Hear it all the time. It's rare that we go through a budget with somebody where at the end they're like, oh, it's what I thought. No, most cases, at least 90% or higher, people are like, I had no idea what was going on. So here are the different type of expenses that you're going to have. Number one are fixed expenses. These are expenses that don't change on a monthly basis. So what could that be? Well, that could be a mortgage or a rent payment, a condo fee. That could be a cell phone, because every month your cell phone payment's pretty much the same. A gym membership, life insurance, transit pass. Just month after month, it's the same. So what you want to do after you print out your Visa or MasterCard or credit card form, you want to highlight in a specific color all your fixed payments, your bank statements, like whatever it may be. And then what you want to do is tally up on a monthly basis how much that might be. So again, we use an example of your current rent is $1,200. You know what? You've got internet at $50. You got a cell phone at $50. Like Netflix at $12, which is probably going to be a little higher now. A gym membership at $35. You got your hot water tank or is that transit pass at $100. You've got bank fees at $15. So every month your total fixed expenses are $1,462. So when you type it in, it's going to tally it up and give you a total at the bottom. The next thing you want to do is figure out what your variable expenses are. So you're going to go through all your credit card slips with 3 different highlighters. And again, this one, you're going to, for your variable expenses and your bank statements, you're going to use a different color. And your variable expenses could be, they're different type of expense. So that could be, credit card interest if you're not paying off your credit card in full. That could be electric, your electricity bill isn't the same every month in most cases. It goes up and down depending on what, how much you use. Groceries, dining out, toiletries, cigarettes, clothing, parking, Uber, taxi, personal grooming, pet supplies, stuff like that. So again, you're going to want to highlight, in a specific different color than your fixed and figure out what are my expenses. So in this case, we use $200 for credit card interest, $100 for electricity, $250 for home expenses, $250 for dining out, $50 for toiletries, $100 for alcohol, clothing, alcohol, $50 for personal grooming, Uber, and $75. So that's $1,225. So now you have an idea of what your variable expenses are every single month, right? And the last thing is your irregular expenses. These are expenses that happen infrequently, but that you need to be prepared for. So what could that be? That could be, we're going on vacation. Property tax, that usually comes out every 2 or 3 months, not every month. Home maintenance, that could be, a wedding gift. So these are things that just happen. Vet expenses, your dog or cat or animal gets sick. You've got school expenses, tuition fees, textbooks, stationery. That comes in waves, right? Gifts, you've got vacation, anything like that that's variable. So again, we put $100 in entertainment. We put $100 in school expenses, $100 in gifts, $150 in vacation, and we add it up. And these are your, again, irregular expenses. So what makes this budgeting tool so powerful is the goals and the monthly tracker. So this is the best part. After you've filled it all in, this program, actually this Excel sheet starts doing all the math for you and helps you get where you want to go. This is creating your goals and tracking them. So again, as I showed you here, is on the left-hand side, as you fill in, this is your monthly income that we talked about at the beginning. These are your fixed expenses. These are your variable expenses. And then your irregular ones are sitting underneath. You can't see it on the screen. So this is your current amount. Then what you can do is you can type in your goal. You can be like, you know what? My alcohol goal is at $100 a month. I got to get it down to $50, because by that saves me $600 a month, right? There's specific ways to lower. So you've got what your current, now you have a reality, a full understanding where all your money is. The next, you can figure out what my goal is. How do I get my spending down to where I want it to go? So again, you can fill in the blanks at that point, and what it's going to do is, I'll give you a perfect example. You have dining out. My dining out bill is $800 a month. I don't want that. That's restaurants, coffees, or whatever it may be. I'm going to get that down to $500. That's my actual goal. And then what you do at the bottom of this Excel worksheet, you have your current budget. Then you go your budget tracking. You click the budget tracking tab at the very bottom. And this is going to track all your spending month after month after month as you fill in the program. Your variable expenses are regular. It's going to show you what you tend to do on a month-to-month basis. I mean, this tool is amazing. So your monthly savings, your monthly income, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So it actually starts tracking. You want to know why this is so powerful? It gives you a clear understanding where your money is. You know, it's interesting. They say that 2/3 of Canadians worry about money. 69% don't have a plan. And that is the reason why they worry. They don't have a plan. You think about it, it's like you look at how a GPS works. A GPS works with 2 pieces of information. It needs to know where you are. It needs to know where you want to go. And then it fills in the blank. This is like a GPS. It tells you where you are, where you want to go. This gives you clarity. I don't know if anybody's ever driving somewhere and you have this GPS working and it's great. And then all of a sudden it's telling you where to go and you feel comfortable. You know, you're just cruising along. The next thing you know, you lose connection or your battery runs out. And then all of a sudden you start panicking like, oh my gosh, was that the exit? I don't know. I can't get off. You start fighting with your spouse or partner or kids or whatever, friends, who's ever in the car. And because you had all this clarity, and next thing you know, you have no clarity. You don't know if you're missing the exit. You don't know where you are. You feel, you know, very, you know, open to the elements. And it's that same panic that people have when it comes to money because they don't know where they are. They don't know where their money's going. This tool will help you with all of it. And now more than ever, you want to be tracking that budget. It is everything. It's absolutely critical. So the best practices and tips that we can provide for you, number one is update your budget tracker daily if possible, if not weekly. It only takes, I'm not asking you to take 2 hours a week. It'll take 5 or 10 minutes. The first time you do this program, it might take you maybe 45 minutes to an hour to do it, but you work 40 to 45 hours a week. I'm asking you for an hour the first time. It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes a week every time you do it after that. So, you know, you're working 45 hours a week, to not including, you know, commute time and all that stuff to go make this money. You can't allocate 5 minutes to figure out where it's going. See what I mean? It doesn't take that long to do this. Keep all your receipts from debit, credit cards, and cash transactions because this will help you track your budget. And use an app program if you need. Just make sure you review it once a week to ensure you're staying on track with your money. Tips and tricks about saving money. Number one is call all your current utility providers now for a better deal. Now more than ever, you can do that. It is critical. Call and say, you know what, I'm getting a better deal across the street. You know what, I'm thinking about changing providers. Honestly, you'd be shocked how many times they'll knock $10 or $20 or $30 off your bill just to keep that customer. And you know, you add that up, that's $10 or $20 a month. So let's say $20 a month, that's $240 a year, year after year after year after year. And do the math on that. If there's a $240 bill sitting on the ground, you think it's the best day you remember for the rest of your life. By taking 10 or 15 minutes and making a phone call, that could really make a big impact. Number one is dining out and make dining out a treat, like especially now, right? You should be trying to keep as much money as you can in your pocket. Make dining out a treat, not a habit. Go to the discount section of the grocery store and price match. You'd be surprised, you know, what kind of deals you can get if you go to the discount part of the grocery store. You get amazing deals there. Bike or walk as much as you can. You know what? That car can, if you own a car, maybe try to avoid using it as much as you can right now, just to keep your costs low, your repair costs, your gas costs, and so forth. Make coffee at home. Work instead. You know, make coffee at home or work school instead of buying it at shops. So again, that's 100%. Like you start doing the math, the coffee $2 or $3, times that by, let's say it's $3, times that by 5 days a week, that's $15. Times that by 4 weeks, that's 40. That's $60. 60 times you've got 10. That's 600 times $720 a year in just coffee, right? After tax. So there you go. Think about it. By not buying coffee every day, that's $720 in savings a year. If you have a home phone that you don't really use because you have a cell phone, you can cut $30 or $40 off there a month. Right there is an extra 30. That's not what, you know, $360. That's $1,000 in saving. By maybe cutting your home cable because you have Netflix and another provider, that could be $40, $50. There's $600. You have $1,600 in savings just like that. And that's what I mean. We help so many Canadians do that. Another one is this, you know, cut your bank fees. Call your bank and say, I'm going to leave. You don't take away my yearly fee for a credit card. Again, you'd be surprised how often they do that. You love books, get a library card. You don't have to go out and buy books, go to the library. Of course, right now you can't do that, but when things kick back into full gear, you can do that. Get rid of cable, buy a box or a streaming service. Again, like I just brought, you can save thousands of dollars year after year doing that. Sell unwanted stuff on Craigslist, Kijiji, Let Go, Buns, whatever it is. As I said, if you don't need it, sell it or get rid of it. It is important now more than ever to do that. And I'm telling you, I do this to this day. I don't need to, but buy your car used. I'm looking at buying a bike right now because a mountain bike, because my son and I are going mountain biking all the time. And when I have is about 6 years old, and I bought it for 150 or 200 at Canadian Tire, and I want something a little better. And there's one I was looking at, it was $3,000 brand new. I was like, yeah, I don't really feel like spending $3,000. I want something to last and better quality. I looked online and Kijiji, I found the exact bike I want for $950. And I'm like, this is great. Like, I just saved $2,000 and the bike's 2 years old. I saved $2,000, saved 66% of the value of the bike. That's what I'm trying to get at. So again, these are things that you could do to save money. And bonus ways to save money. You know what? Buy a cheaper car, ditch the extra car. If you have an extra car right now you're not using, get rid of it. Take a good hard look at your insurance. Do you really need all of it? Like if you have life or like I'm a big believer in life insurance. Just make sure you're not overpaying on life insurance, right? Get rid of some of those extended warranties. If you have extended warranties that you're paying into, maybe get rid of them. If you have any investments right now, make sure that you know what you're actually spending, what your sales fees are on it, what the sales commissions. This is the time to look at everything financially. As I said in the intro that Scott brought up, you can learn money the easy way or the hard way. You know what? Most people are learning it the hard way right now. The amount of people that I've run into in the last month saying, my gosh, I wish I didn't buy that thing in January, February. I had no idea this was coming. And again, in the intro that Scott brought up, I've had a lot of mentors around me. They're all older. I had a friend of mine, and when I was, and he's 61, I'm 43, and he told me this a few years ago. I never forgot. He goes, Kev, you have no idea what a recession is. He goes, anybody 45 and under really doesn't know. And he's right. He goes, a recession is where you take a 30% pay cut for, 2-3 years of your life. 2008 was a hit to Canada, but it wasn't massive. This right here is a recession. This is going to last a long time. This is something that everybody's taking a massive hit. This is what he warned me about. And when he told me that a few years ago, I never forgot. And that's why I always make sure that I keep a low overhead. I don't have massive expenses, and I never will. I protect my low overhead. I don't have a big mortgage payment. I don't have, I don't have tons of cars. I just try to keep my overhead as low as I can. I spend money when I can, but right now when I have to live a little more budgeted, I can do that with no stress. And that's why right now, more than ever, budget and create a little more clarity. Eat less meat. Hey, listen, I love eating meat, so don't take it the wrong way. This is not a preachy presentation, but meat's expensive. It is, right? Instead of eating meat every day, maybe try cutting back to a few times a week. You'll save tons of money there. Negotiate your mortgage or look to refinance. Tons of people are refinancing because rates are still low. Plan a staycation. Right now, we can't go anywhere versus a vacation. Grow a garden, for some of your vegetables if you can. Organize your pantry and make a shopping list. This is critical. The amount of people that do impulse shopping when they go out grocery shopping is insane. That's, again, hundreds of dollars every single year of money that didn't need to be spent. And shop out of season. Like, you know what? Right now is a great time to go out and buy everything that's on sale. Actually, this is probably not time to buy anything, but when things kick back again, in the spring is the best time to buy next year's winter stuff because everything's 50 to 60% off. So again, buy off season. That's the whole point of that. Again, it's important to understand that, SprottShaw is here to help. This is what they're here to do. I know that Scott's going to be putting this link, SprottShaw.com, up on the Facebook page. But also, if you don't have access to Facebook right now, take a screenshot on this on your phone, or take a picture of this on your phone, and then you know what to do. Because when you click that link and go to the COVID section, you're going to see all the support that's available to you: employment support, housing support. They've done a phenomenal job at SprottShaw College providing all these resources for you so that you have total clarity in this time of crisis. And again, the cool thing is that budget tool I just showed you, it's going to be there. They're going to give that to you absolutely free, which is an amazing giveaway by SprottShaw. Just shows you what a great organization they are. So thank you very much, SprottShaw, for doing that. And that's what we're here to do, is help people out. It's funny, I kind of went through this presentation. I left a few minutes, Scott. Did we have time for any type of communication back and forth or anything like that? Or
Questions. No one's posted any questions yet, so we can just wait a few seconds here and see if anybody else has wants to ask any questions for you before we thank you very much and move on here.
Yeah, no problem. So you posted that link for the Sprott chat. Great.
Absolutely, on the Facebook page, and it's on SprottTalks.com where you shared that link. Absolutely.
You know what? I'll actually go to your SprottTalks website.
Yeah.
There you go. So there it is right now. So SprottTalks, you click that link. Excuse me. And there it is. So all you need to do is go to SprottTalks website or Facebook page, and then go to see more. And right there, is that where it is? Right there. Am I clicking the right one or? Hold on 1 second. There you go. There it is right there, right?
Thank you very much. Yeah.
No problem. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We appreciate that. And we're going to put this recording on our YouTube page. And it's also going to be on Facebook, of course, for anyone that didn't get a chance to see the beginning of it. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you, Crystal.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
SprottTalks College.